Hi, everyone. Welcome to Love and Marriage with Seyi, where we celebrate thriving marriages and sow success seeds and wisdom nuggets for growth. Thank you for being here with us today. Question a lot of us ask is, how do you grow in love? How do you keep a love affair growing and growing positively? Today we will speak with Ambassador and Mrs. Ojo, and they will tell us how they have kept their relationship growing for over 50 years. It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you all Ambassador and Mrs. Kayode Ojo. Ambassador and Mrs. Ojo, how are you doing?
We're good, Seyi.
All right. Thank you so much for being with us today. Now, we are here to celebrate your marriage. And, it's such a wonderful thing when we see people who have been married for as long as you have been. You've been married for the 2 years, but you've been together for about a half of a century.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that? How do you keep a relationship growing? And how do you continue in love for half of a century?
Thank you. When we started, some years after, I remember I went to the house in Ibadan. And I had, they normally do early morning prayer and 9 o'clock prayer in the house then. So when it was 9 o'clock prayer, we wanted to go to a party. But we were waiting for Baba because of the prayer. We couldn't go out until after prayer. We could not go out of the house. So during the prayer time, Baba ministered to us with the Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22, 23, mentioning how husbands and wives should take care of themselves. Wife, you must submit to your husband, and husband, you must love your wife. So I grabbed that, and I never heard of it before. So when I got home, I went to my Bible and I read it. So wife must submit to the husband. So I heard it since then. So when we now got married, I was always thinking about it. That wife must submit to husband. So anything I wanted to submit, I was trying to, I must submit by all means, which I tried to do. And I think I was doing it. So I think he was encouraged by that. So that was how we're just moving together, bearing children together, and everything was just going on smoothly.
I appreciate that. So to you, ma'am, submission is a key to a great marriage.
Yeah, great.
The woman must submit to her husband.
Submit, yes.
Give me an example of what submission looks like. For someone out there, even for me, for everybody, give me an example of when you have submitted to him.
At times I would love to do some things, but he will not like it. So as soon as he says no, then I withdraw. I won't do it again. If I want to travel or I want to go somewhere and he says no, I believe no is no, then I will say back. I try to listen to him, to follow his whatever he dictates. I will not argue with him.
Yeah, I think
Well,
submission.
I kind of like that dictation because when you want to travel and he says no, that could also mean he doesn't want you to go. He's going to miss you.
And maybe that, or maybe we have other things to do, and he will not want me to, to miss it or something like that. So I have to wait and stay back.
And so you give me a good example of submission because I think every woman wants to be appreciated and every woman wants to be needed. So what you've said is you submit because he makes it obvious that he needs you. He wants you to be there with him, right?
Yeah, he will want me to be there, and especially about the children too. You know, we do take care of the children together. But anything I wanted to do that he says he does not like it, I have no option that to listen to him.
That is indeed a secret to a good marriage, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
And that you make submission sound easy. You make submission sound good. And I wish that a lot more women could see submission as that. Because a lot of times when they talk about submission, they make it seem like a difficult thing to do, like you're being forced to submit. Now tell me, Ambassador, what is your secret? For Mrs., it's definitely submission. What has been your secret to a good marriage, a 50-year relationship?
Yeah, I want to believe it is, the doing of the Lord. When you are prayerful about something and you have faith in God, you will get that thing. Marriage is very important in the life of a man. If you get it wrong, it's going to take a long, long time to get it back if you ever do. But if you're lucky to get it right, on the first outing, then of course you will so very, very high, in life. Submission is key. Like my wife has said, it invokes love. Submission strengthens love. I mean, men are, if you don't mind, sometimes very assertive. A man wants to let the wife know that, hey, you are the man of the house, you are the captain of this ship, you are the head of the
That's right.
family, and once the woman resists that, the man would feel challenged, like you are challenging his authority in the home. But when your wife submits, when your wife listens to you, when your wife agrees with your point of correction, it invokes love. It strengthens your commitment to making the woman happy. Yes, you think outside the box, to ensure that things fall in place, in the home, which of course will make both of you happy. And if you don't mind, the man actually is the spiritual head of the family, and there are things that the man thinks of that may be strange to you, but they are dictates of the Lord. How you want to be, how you want to go, how the children should, be trained, you know. I think it's important. God flows through the family, through the head of the family. And I think submission is very key in that area.
Wow. I like what you said. Submission invokes love. And so
Mm.
when your wife submits to you, it kind of challenges you to love her even more.
True.
That is correct.
Very true.
That is awesome. Now, you guys have been together going on 50 years. How did this all begin?
Yeah, it began in high school. I mean, I was in Form 3. She was in Form 1. She came in Form 1. And I was in 1971. I was in Form 3. And so she came in, that's 1971. And I saw her through my classmate who was her brother, her senior brother. Yes. Fatai, blessed memory now, may so rest in peace. Fatai was my friend, and this was his sister. And when I saw her, one thing led to the other, and she had challenges in mathematics. and I was good in mathematics, so she would always bring problems, and then that kept us together talking. But guys, our schoolmates who were observing felt there was something else to it. Yes, but physically there was nothing to it other than her bringing, mathematical challenges and problems and me solving them. But that dragged on from three, my from three to form five. But I must tell you that I was a very studious person. I was a very studious, student, in school. I had no time for girls really. Um, you know, I devoted more time to my studies, and God helped me through. But I tell you, the day I finished my school SAT in 1973, June 23 now, all right, that day was when I invited her, and told her I wanted her to be my wife, not girlfriend.
Wow.
Yeah, that was how I was led to speak. I wasn't looking for a girlfriend. I was looking for a wife. And I was a young man then. Yes, I mean, 1973. I was 16. She was,
16.
yeah, I was 16. She was 15. And she gladly accepted. Anyhow,
She gladly accepted to be your wife at age 15.
at 15,
Wow.
yeah, that was a vision. And then after, I took her home and told my mother, this is my wife, and then it picked, and that was it.
So when you asked her to be your wife, evidently you were a teenager. She was a teenager.
That's
Now
right.
you've gone through the season of being a young man. You've gone through the season of college, of starting a career, going through a career. You are an ambassador, so you've had that season of traveling, of professional growth and all that. Besides submission, how else? Because when you're an ambassador, you're traveling all over the place. You change, you grow in personality. How does your, I don't know, 65, 70-year-old self still remain in love with the young lady you saw in your 16-year-old self?
Yeah, my wife remained the same person, between age 16 and now. She remained the same person. She has not changed. She loves me. I mean, and that's evident. I mean, she wants my progress. We've moved around the world. We've been moving always together. I mean, we're on vacation now in the United States. We are together. We share more values together. We understand ourselves better, complement each other.
I'm going to share with you one of the things I hear a lot of young men say, and I've heard them say to me as a reason for divorce or separation is, my wife has changed. Some of them say, I've grown. She was good for me then, but not anymore. How do you address that? For someone out there, for a young man out there who is experiencing that emotion, my wife has changed. Or, she was good then, but not anymore. How would you advise such a person? What would you say in coaching such a person to realize that love is constant, that love is a commitment?
That's right. Yeah.
What would you say?
Yeah, thanks, Seyi. I like that expression. Love is constant. Love doesn't change. If what you have for your wife is true love, it won't change. But you, as a man, if you want to be adventurous, you may change. And once you change, the woman will react to your change, and then you will think that she's the one changing. No, I think you have changed. I think you have changed one way or the other. Something has changed. Something, something has changed. The formula which holds the two of you together has been tampered with one way or the other. But love does not change. Love is constant. Love is, if it is true love, that you have for each other, then it won't change. I mean, we started with nothing. We started like you were told earlier on, as teenagers that had nothing, and we coasted through, you know, in prayers, and the Lord took control, you know. And one thing that I think is very key here again is vision.
Mm.
Yes, vision. My wife, dreams a lot. She sees tomorrow. She has been told how the journey will be. She has been revealed to how we will start, you know, humbly, and an idea of where we will get to, you know, together. She has told me that a lot. So possibly that also kept her on track. I'm not an angel. I won't tell you I'm an angel, and I mean, and certainly I must have done some things, which she didn't like, along, this journey. But her commitment to make the marriage work, her commitment to see that tomorrow, which had been revealed to her, must have kept her on, that despite all odds, we will make this work. And we pray all the time. I tell you, and it works. This was handed over to us by my father. We wake up very early in the morning, 6 a.m. to pray, wherever we are. And before we go to bed in the night, we also pray. Things will be revealed to you one way or the other, to know how, it's going to be. It hasn't been all smooth. It hasn't been a very, very smooth journey, I must let you know. But I tell you, God is merciful. And when He travels the journey with you, He makes the journey, easy. He makes the journey easy. He strengthens you to travel that journey, to His glory.
Awesome. Thank you for that. This is really powerful, and you are sharing some powerful, powerful nuggets. I'm going to ask you, ma'am. And so he said he has not been a saint. He's done some things that you may not have liked. And I know that he's speaking for many men out there. I mean, I'm talking about you agreed to be his wife at age 15. So you've seen him grow through college, through career, traveling back and forth. How have you kept your marriage going? I know you've said you submit, but we're talking about evidently a man who's grown by leaps and bounds from when you met his 16-year-old self. So how have you dealt with the growth that has come about from his career, through his career? How have you dealt with all of that to where you're still his partner in every way?
Yeah, like I said, I decided that this road I'm going to pass through, I will take everything that comes my way. I loved him and I didn't want to separate from him. I wanted to always be with him. Anytime he wasn't around, I would not feel good. I would be looking
Oh,
forward to seeing him. So we're coming like that, two of us, very young, and we're managing our lives. There were times things will be difficult. We'll go through it together, by praying to God, and things were coming smooth. So by the time he started traveling, we were going together. I had to follow him, and whatever he asked me to do, I would do. Since I never love to separate from him, I will listen to whatever he wants. And we'll be coming together smoothly like that to the glory of God to date.
wow. Wow. I like what you said. You loved him so much you didn't want to be separated from him. And so when you say that you loved him so much you didn't want to be separated from him, now he's an ambassador, he's traveling back and forth. How about you? What about your career?
Yeah, since in their own line, if the husband is a diplomat, the wife must follow whenever he's going on posting. The other way around, if the woman, the husband has to follow her to any posting. So when it is time, I know that I have to leave my job and follow him. And it has been like that.
Yeah, and government provided for that too. The spouse will take leave of absence,
Okay.
from wherever he or she
Okay.
work. So anytime
Wow.
he or she returns,
I continue
you
from
just
where.
continue from where you stopped.
From
Yeah,
where you stopped.
that's
Okay.
right.
Okay. That is actually a dream come true for some people, right? You can
Yeah,
take a leave of absence, put your
Mm,
mhm.
job on hold and travel the world and come
Yeah,
back and your job is waiting
that's
for
right.
you. So
yeah.
That's right.
that is a dream come true for so many
Mhm.
people.
Yeah.
Now, in this conversation, what I'm getting from you and what we're sharing with the world is the fact that to keep your marriage going, it is basically a commitment and a decision. You decide, I don't want to separate from my husband or from my wife, and
Mm.
you keep it going. You commit to the journey and you
Yeah.
keep the journey going. And so you met at when you were teaching her, helping her with math and all that,
Mhm.
and at the end of what sounds like 3 years, you knew this is the person you wanted to marry.
That's right.
You had the benefit of teaching her for 3 years and getting to know her
Hmm.
that way. How about a young man out there who sees a young lady and kind of sort of feels like he likes her, but doesn't have the benefit of having gotten to know her over time? What would you say to such a young man or to such a young lady, who's being toasted, for the first time from a guy she's just meeting? What would you tell such a person to look out for?
Yeah, marriage is spiritual. I mean, the physical part you are seeing is just a minute part of it. I mean, when I saw my wife, even as a teenager, then I was convinced in my, mind that she was my wife. I mean, I was convinced that she was my wife, and there is something that clicks. If it doesn't click, you won't be comfortable with what you are saying. If you force yourself into it, it may not last. you know so if you don't have the opportunity, you just ask a question about if you don't have the opportunity of time, to understand. You have to cultivate a way of getting close to this girl that you like. Yes, I mean, you need to create the situation, the environment with which you'll be able to access her, and make your intentions known to her. And with time you grow with it. You understand each other. You must understand each other. You must know your do's and don'ts. It has to work. Yes, the compatibility must be there. Yeah, you should know when. I mean, something happened yesterday. For example, I will tell you this. We were going for the sister birthday party. My wife said she banged the door, so all the doors were locked. I wasn't very happy about that, but I kept quiet. So we went for the party. We came back. So we couldn't access the rooms because the doors were being jammed. But each time she was making entity to me, oh, I'm sorry about this. I just kept quiet, until the birthday guy came back, and opened the doors, with his key. My wife would just sit telling me, please, I'm very, very sorry about this. This will not repeat itself again. I will not do this again. I was happy in my mind that she knew she was wrong and she was apologetic. I slept all through. When we got to the room, the toilet, door also was locked. She banged that also. I said, oh shit. Till I came back, she was also, I'm very sorry about this. I just left, no problem. You know, and until that door too was opened. So it behoves a lot of understanding and patience for you to live with each other. Don't forget you had two different backgrounds. The guy comes from a background, the lady comes from another background, and you need to work together, to work on this product, you know, and move on in life. So patience is important, understanding is important, compatibility is important, You know, yeah, all these are ingredients of love.
Wow, thank you so much. So, what I heard from what you said now is she has the secret because she did something that could have been very upsetting and could have really raised a storm, but she had the secret of coming to you and saying to you, I'm sorry this happened. Please don't be
That,
upset. I'm trying to fix it up. And
that's
by
right.
doing that, she was assuaging your anger and you
That's right.
weren't able to really, because you
Mhm.
saw she was remorseful.
That's
It
right.
sounds kind of what we expect, kind of like what we expect from our children. You know,
Mm,
when they say they're sorry and they keep, you can't really get too upset with them. And that
mm,
might be the secret, right?
that's
Because
right.
if she were trying to be like, well, it's a mistake, anybody can make a mistake, what's the big deal? Then it
No,
probably would have been something else.
it will help matters at all. It will help matters at all. And that is the understanding. My wife is a good person. She's a very good woman. And she's a gift for me. I tell you. She has helped me to actually get to where I am today, to the glory of God. I couldn't have had anything better than her. You know,
Wow.
God's gift. That's it.
Wow.
Mhm.
That is so powerful. That is so powerful. Listening to you, I'm remembering in the Bible where it says that a wise woman builds a house. And it sounds to me like that is exactly what she does.
Yeah.
Sounds to me like you said, she's a wise woman, she's supportive, she's submissive,
Mm,
and she has the secret. She knows how to keep you from, it reminds me of David and Abigail. You know how David said Abigail had kept him from committing a big sin or a big crime of killing somebody and all that by
mhm,
her coming to him respectfully and admitting the error of Nabal and
mm,
all
mm,
that.
mm, mm, mm,
Sounds to
mm.
me like that's what's
That's
going
right.
on here.
Mm,
And I can see how that would be a good secret to keeping your marriage together.
mhm,
Wisdom, and
mm.
just making sure that things don't overboil and get out of control, right?
Yeah, exactly. That exactly. It is. I mean, that springs from understanding too. Love is encompassing. Is that also? It's encompassing. It is forgiving. It is understanding. It has compatibility in it. It's just all encompassing. It makes the partners happy. Yeah, that's I think is how it is. It's a whole complex thing if you don't mind, but at the same time, it is simple. When you address it properly.
Wow. I am
Mhm.
enjoying this interview. Thank you for everything you're sharing with us. I'm going to ask you, ma'am. He has said how much you are a blessing. He's given an example of how you have behaved in such a way that even if he ought to get angry, he's unable to get angry because you have assuaged his anger before it could arise. Now, I want you to speak to a man out there using your husband as an example of what a good man is.
My husband is a good man. He's a very good man. You know, the love is there, so he doesn't always want me to be sad. He wants me happy. Anytime he sees me being sad or angry, he will draw me in there and you know, he will speak sweet words to my ears, which will make me smile, and we continue. No problem. We understand ourselves very well. I know when
Wow.
he's angry, and he knows when I'm angry, he's not happy. You know.
There was this
Wow.
time. There was this time. When I was in service, I was given a posting to Ethiopia. And we had completed our documentations. Everything had been completed, and I've actually, sent my family to Lagos while I was in Abuja. And the minister summoned me and said, Mr. Ojo, your posting has been changed to Rome, you know, to Rome. So we then had to start all over again, documentation. And of course, that was an order. Your posting had been changed from Ethiopia to Rome. So simply, start working. So when I called my wife to tell her that, hey, we need to start all over again, because the person had been changed from Ethiopia to Italy, from Addis Ababa, to Rome. And she simply accepted. That's what I'm talking about, submission. You know, um, Another woman may make a fuss of that, and that's a problem. You make a fuss of that, and then you just make it difficult, something that cannot be changed. So they had to come back to Abuja to start the process all over again for
All
visa,
over again.
yeah, all over again. And she took it with a lot of understanding and no anger, no force, no nothing. And that made it easy for me, made it easy. Yes, the guy, the man the man is the head of the family, and he goes through inconveniences that he doesn't always share with even his wife. He's going through those chores, but his devotion, his commitment is to making his wife and children happy. The partner should make it easier for him to handle, through submission. Yeah, I mean, if he tells you the whole story, he will not be too happy about it. But if you say this is the way to go, just pray for him to succeed. When he succeeds, the family succeeds.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing these wisdom nuggets with us. The secret that we have picked up from you is the power of a decision, a commitment, sticking by that, submission,
Yeah.
and not grieving. Even the Bible commands us to not grieve our
Mm,
leaders. And so not
mm,
grieving your leaders. And
mm,
you said a big thing that you do is you try your best to always make her know you love her.
mhm.
You actually used the phrase, you said submission invokes love. And so any woman who wants to be loved,
That's so
I'm
much.
learning from you, or I'm gathering from you that every woman should learn that secret. Submit.
Yeah.
Don't make the burden grievous to your
Yes.
husband,
Yeah.
and your husband will invariably love you more and more.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Absolutely.
Wow. I'm going to ask you about a couple. The wife bears the financial burden of the family.
Mm.
With your experience, would you say that this woman who basically funds and runs the family should submit to her husband, even though she funds and runs the family?
Yeah, I would certainly yes. The answer is yes. And I have examples, you know, um, to that effect. I would not mention names, but I had a senior colleague, who, of course, became an ambassador as well, much earlier before me. And she was apparently the breadwinner of the family. But boy, she respected her husband. She respected her husband. She loved her husband. Wherever she went, the husband went with her. Yes. And they lived happily together. You know, God who has made you the breadwinner of the family knows what he's doing. But the man remains the head of the family. She supported him, established a bakery, established businesses. She had the money to do that, and the man too loved, his wife back. Yes, and appreciated whatever, the woman did, to make him grow too. And that's how it works. I mean, I have examples. I mean, I won't mention names, but there was a banking chief executive officer. Yes, as a protocol officer at the airport, the husband was always coming to meet her. When she was traveling all over the world. In fact, helping even her to pick up back. God who has preferred to channel resources to the family through the woman knows of all what he is doing. But that will not take the headship of the family from the man. Yeah.
I like what you have said. And I think we will go on ahead and end it on that note, because God is indeed the author of the marriage institution.
Yeah.
And God has said that the husband is the head of the wife. And so when you say to recognize the headship of the husband, regardless of who the breadwinner is, regardless of who has the, you know, who is the breadwinner of the
Mm,
family, the husband is still the head. The wife still needs to submit. Submission invokes love.
mm,
Love is a decision, love is a commitment. And
mm,
so, as long as the woman would submit, the husband would continue to love,
mm.
and the marriage would continue to grow peacefully for the
Yes.
benefit of both the husband and wife, as well as the children, and by extension, the community. I definitely appreciate what you have said. It has been awesome talking with you. I thank you for accepting our invitation and for being a blessing to the community and to the world like you have done today. Once again, Ambassador and Mrs. Ojo, thank you so much for being with us this evening. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, the seed has been sown. So they met in high school. You know, he was fortunate enough to be the math teacher. And then he saw in her qualities that he wanted in a wife, asked her to marry him at the age of 16. They dated for a minute and have been married 42 years. The secret, submission. In their words, submission invokes love. This is probably the biggest nugget we've gotten out of this. While some of us think that submission is an acquiescence, it's a giving in. Some of us think that when you submit, you're being forced to yield. You're being made subservient. As a matter of fact, submission sometimes is willingly done. Submission is a way of showing love. And it's always easy to show love when you have a husband who makes you feel needed. You know, he doesn't want her to go out. He wants her to stay with him. And she appreciates that, and she stays back. Sometimes I think women, we should take a chill pill. Just believe in our husbands, trust our husbands, and just submit. Let's just submit to them. The Bible says, wives, submit to your husbands. Husbands, love your wives. This couple here that we've spoken to today, Ambassador and Mrs. Ojo, have shown us that when the woman submits, the man loves her more and more. Women out there, take this as a nugget. Make this a strategy. Try it for a week. Try it for a month. Submit to your husband and prayerfully ask the Lord to help your husband. That as you submit to him, God himself will invoke more love in him for you, and your families will be submitted. Once again, it's been an awesome pleasure bringing this on today. I pray that God himself will minister wisdom into our hearts, and that day by day, he would give us the grace to build our homes for his glory, for his praise, and for the good of men. Until I see you again next month and beyond, the good Lord bless and keep us all.